sweeping the skies as the cold and dark close in. All along the Black Sea coast, every night small units of Ukrainian soldiers are searching for Russian drones. Drones that drop explosives, and reconnaissance drones that map Ukrainian radar and pave the way for missiles. Most they shoot down, but not all.
Так, на мою думку, змінилось, їх стало більше. Вони почали запускати їх частіше із різних напрямків. Але все одно ми робимо все, щоб їх збити. І все, що ми можемо.
This morning, drones wrecked this housing complex in Odessa before the Russians launched a missile. An old-age pensioners' community centre took a direct hit. It's the fourth time the area has been struck. But can you ever get used to this?
Иди полежи, я тут на смету.
Куда полежи, когда во всей квартире стекла?
Ну я буду сейчас собирать стекла тебе.
Сейчас муж приедет. Будет тоже убирать. Четвертый раз, ну сколько же можно? Сейчас на тебе, сейчас все раскурочилось. Мало того, тут стенки повредились. Вылетело вон весь. Ой. На балконе полстенки отвалило. Там в большой комнате тоже под подоконником отвалило.
Nearly 3 years into the war, everyone knows the drill. The experts who find missile fragments to work out which kind of rocket it was. The psychologists helping people like Eva Pohodina, whose late father used to live here, and for whom these aren't just concrete apartment blocks, but a cradle of memory.
І коли прилітаю сюди, для мене це взагалі дуже емоційне, ну таке, дуже боюся, аби якась пам'ятка про нього лишилась, вибачте. От, тому я побігла побачити, чи ніхто не помер і чи стоїть батьківський дім. Бо в нього вже декілька разів тут, то там поряд прилітало.
So this was another seemingly random missile attack on a civilian part of Odessa. It came in just before 10 o'clock this morning. We heard it from where we were in another part of the city. The aim? To terrify Ukrainians into wanting an end to this war, whatever the cost, even surrender. Hannah Shelest's Odessa apartment was destroyed by a drone last week.
We are in the historical downtown, which is under the UNESCO protection, so not just historical downtown, but UNESCO protection. And still Iranian Russian drones are here just in the downtown shooting plenty of residential areas.
As a military analyst, she's thinking about whether Ukraine might exchange land for peace in negotiations expected after President Trump takes office in January.
People ready for negotiations, but not for surrender. And that is the very thin line in this, which is very important.
But you say they're ready for negotiations. That means a territorial compromise, doesn't it?
No, because, negotiations can be from the different positions. And why we should, if we compromise the territories, it means we would reward Putin.
Beyond Odessa's famous Potemkin steps, a ship comes into port, ready to load up with grain. Freedom of navigation is one of Ukraine's military achievements. They've forced back the Russian Black Sea fleet. But on land, day by day, Russia is advancing. 3D printing to make components for drones and grenades at one of 34 centres founded by Odessa's most prominent MP. Drones are the big thing. Are any of this?
Drones are very big story and very big part of the war right now, so they need such things which they should be light, but at the same they put inside explosives so they can drop from the drones.
Honcharenko has organised shifts of volunteers making camouflage netting for the soldiers. He's a professional optimist, even in the face of battlefield losses and the prospect of Donald Trump forcing negotiations.
Many people here in Ukraine, including me, we have hopes. Because the first source of hope is the fact that he said that he will drop the oil prices. He said, I will drill, drill, drill. And he will do this not for Ukraine, but for United States. But we will benefit from this because of Russia, because the main source of Russian war chest is price on oil. So if he will really do this, and if the oil price will drop significantly, this will have devastating effect on Russia. It will be more than nukes and any experimental ballistic missiles.
Well, maybe.
My biggest problem with the President Trump that he's unpredictable and he can change his mind during one day. That's the problem during the war, because during the war you need planning, you need to understand on whom you can rely.
If Donald Trump was here today, what would you say to him?
I would say to Donald Trump that Ukraine can be a very strong ally. You can't lose a ally like this. This is a very good deal for the United States to do.
Ukraine has survived despite the Russian invasion. Its people keep going through military setbacks and persistent attacks. But they've yet to see whether Donald Trump's idea of a deal will be an acceptable compromise or surrender.
And let's go to Lindsay live now. Lindsay.
Krishnan, in the last couple of hours, the Ukrainian armed forces have said that not one but two Iskander ballistic missiles were fired at Odessa today. As we saw, one got through, injuring 11 people. The other one was shot down. At the same time, we're seeing diplomatic moves. The British have announced sanctions on a further 30 ships of what they call the Russian Shadow Fleet. That's taking Russian oil around the world in a way that can't be tracked or is very difficult to track. Mark Rutte, he's the new NATO Secretary General. He was meeting President Erdogan of Turkey today to discuss how to end the war. Erdogan is very important. And tomorrow, a meeting of NATO and Ukraine. Everybody trying to maneuver before President Trump gets into power and does, we don't know what.